So if you need that additional visualization, what you can do is basically color the surface. But you have the weird part about Grasshopper that I didn't really want to introduce is that in order to color something, you have to create a mesh from it. Additionally, it does not do translucencies. So that part might get confusing for you, but if it helps you to maybe color one or two of them, this is what you do. You'll go to Mesh and Primitive, and you're going to use Mesh Colors. And basically under Primitive, then you go to Input, and you just use a color swatch. So you take a B-rep like this, and you plug it into Mesh Colors, and it'll look like that. But when you plug swatch in, it changes it to that color. So now if I need this to be, like my item right here is blue. If I need that to be the blue one, I double click that, saturate it, pull the hue over, and it's going to be blue. Does that make sense? So I wouldn't suggest that for your panels because the translucencies, like you can't do translucencies with this very easily.
Can you apply different like material?
No, not really. No. You do the materials later. Like after you publish it or bake it into Rhino, then you apply the materials and then you render it. Yeah. But yeah, so I would suggest if you're going to do that to help you see what's happening, just do your bars, your beams, or whatever you want to call them. I wouldn't do the panels with that.
Without translucency, it kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah, yeah. But if you wanted to do that, you have this tool in your arsenal. It might help with some things. I think what I'm going to do is pause here on this one before I close out the thoughts for the class here today. Okay, so here's the big reveal, right? This is kind of the whole really powerful thing about why this part is so awesome and why everyone else who is on the Arizona trip is really missing out. So I'm going to go into perspective to show you this part. Basically, what we developed this for is to apply directly to the warped surface that we have here in this definition, right? So that's why when we built this, we had to pay extra special attention to making sure that this surface actually is one surface and that it's a quadrilateral, right? It has four sides, right? Because notice right here, this cluster works off of a U and a V axis, meaning it has, that four sides. Technically, a triangle can have it too, but it's harder to control. But anyway, so the difference here that we're gonna do is really just override that surface connection, and I'm gonna do that first by referencing in a new surface, and I'm gonna click this surface input and put it right there. That's this one right here. It says surface. Just click that, drop it in. Then right-click it, set one surface, and pick one. Start off with a surface that doesn't have an extreme curve. Okay, one like probably whichever one has like the back curve, the most smooth surface that you can possibly get, and click that one. And then to be able to see it better, you can turn your model off, and it's going to look like that. It'll basically just be a warped surface in space, and it's singular and red. If you see lines go across this, that's probably not good. There might be a problem with it. But anyway, so this is really kind of the moment of truth. So let me just warn you that with Grasshopper, when it's processing this kind of stuff, it can take a while. So I'll suggest save it. In my case, I have to save document as and put it here. But your case, you can just hit save. Maybe save this file as well in case it crashes. With Grasshopper, you have to be extra careful about crashes in case your definition is wrong. And then all you have to do is just drag the output of this surface and override the connection into that surface, and that's what you get. So let me turn off this original one. And that's what we've created. Yeah, pretty powerful, huh? So now this is a warped surface version of the graphic composition that you've created. That's this in 3D. And that's what we're doing. Right? So at this point, you can essentially put the same definition on any side that you reference. So if I, rather than set one surface, if I either manage the surface collection and add a new one, I don't know if I want to do that one yet, but I'll try it. And then hit OK, and it'll oh yeah, it won't do that. I need to graft it? Yeah, there you go. It has to be grafted. Now it's starting to look like a cyborg thing. But I'll explain grafting in a moment. But first, this is what you've created. I mean, it's, in my opinion, it's a really powerful form. But the objective here really is to basically look at your two-dimensional compositions in a three-dimensionally rendered format. Okay? What questions do you have about that so far, besides the grafting question?
I do want to do it.
Okay, I'll come take a look and troubleshoot with you guys individually. But to answer your question before I close out, graft, when you right-click and you do graft, has to do with the type of information that's being passed through and what format it takes. So when you graft something, it's going to look like this, right? It has three surfaces, and this little 0 next to it, that's the index value. So grafting is basically saying I want to graft this into separate groups, right? Like 1, 2, and 3 groups with a separate list each. If it's not grafted and you reference them in, it's just 0, 1, and 2, which Grasshopper reads them as circular references, and that's why you see that this is getting all crazy. I mean, it kind of looks cool, but it doesn't really mean anything. You know, you know what I mean? So that's the form that needs to take. Okay. Okay. Cool. So let me come troubleshoot and get you guys to this point, but this is the stage that you should be at the end of class today.